You've never played sport with a soft ball, and yet you probably drove your mates to the match last weekend on soft tyres. Okay, so we're just going to do a quick video on tyre safety checks as we head into rainy season. I'm filming on my own today, so hello. So, as you'll be aware from your preparations for driving test, the weekly checks we would typically conduct on our tyres would be our pressure checks. So we just slip the valve cap off, and we identify in the vehicle's handbook or on a plate, a sticker on the car, what the correct tyre pressure should be, and then we use a reliable pressure gauge or pressure pencil like this one just to check the tyre's cold pressure. And the other check and inspection we do is for tread depth. So we look at the tread grooves, and we use a tool like this and insert that, put a little green foot across the tread groove, push the measure down, and then we can read the depth of tread, and we should read that in all of the grooves. And as you'll know from your driving test tell me question, the answer to that question would be that the legal minimum is 1.6 millimeters of tread depth. Let me just show you what that looks like on this gauge. So 1.6 millimeters is about that, so nothing at all. But it's 1.6 millimeters across the center 3/4 width of the tire and around its entire outer circumference. So the inner edge can wear slightly more than that, unbelievably, because of the toe in, toe out and caster angles of setup of a wheel and tyre. But the outside edge and the middle 3/4 width must be a legal minimum of 1.6 millimeters. Now, most motoring organisations, road safety organisations, would advise that 3 millimeters is the safe minimum. And the other thing we're looking for are any cuts, bulges, or obvious egg-like shapes from impact with curbs or potholes. But so if we looked at this tyre, at face value, it looks pretty good. I mean, the tread depth actually, in this instance, is actually still measuring between 5 and 6 millimeters, and a new tyre is about 7 millimeters. But if we look a bit closer here, we can start seeing some very fine hairline cracking begin to appear, often referred to as dry rot. I don't know if that's its technical term, but certainly some deterioration, and it would imply hardening of the rubber. And if we look a bit closer again, we can see the date stamp of the tyre in this little lozenge here. Got a 4-digit date stamp. I'll try and colour that to make it a bit more obvious on the camera. And if you can see that, so we've got 1816. So that means production week 18 of a 52-week year in the year of 2016. So we're coming up, it's late December 2023, so we're heading into 2024. So as you can appreciate, that tyre is now very old. Despite having clearly had very limited wear from the previous owner of this car. And so on that basis, I'm not an MOT inspector, I'm not a tyre expert, but I am a father. So this car will now be receiving 4 new tyres in readiness for the rainy season. Because not only can these cracks expand and split, particularly if we have impact with potholes at this time of year, but also the rubber itself will have age hardened, and so its grip and adhesion, particularly in these colder winter months, will be much less, and the reduce of spinning wheels will increase. So just something to be aware of. Age deterioration is quite common if you inherit a car from a grandparent. So in the latter years of driving, grandparents often will do limited mileage, literally a few miles each week, pop into the shops, and their tyres will sit there. If the car is garaged as well, it'll be protected in many ways, but they will be aging significantly. And a friend of mine actually inherited a car from his grandparents when they stopped driving. And when we looked at it in detail, it had passed an MOT test, but his tyres were 16 years old. And organisations such as Tyre Safe and the campaign Tired, which campaigns for an age limit on tyres and would all advise that tyres of that age are well past their safe usage date. So just something to be aware of as you're doing your weekly flower checks.